Yo, what is up, everybody? It is B Militant. Welcome back to the Redskins review. Today I'm going to be answering all your questions that you guys asked me in my Q&A video about a week ago. I let the video keep going for a while because you guys kept asking more questions. So I'm going to do that today. But first things first, man, we got to talk about some Redskins news real quick. Words on the street that Matt Jones has a mysterious knee injury. Now, after the Lions game, all week long up until now, he hasn't been on the injury report at all. You guys know that this is a good thing and a bad thing. A good thing because maybe he's not going to play, or maybe he's not going to be the starter at least for this next upcoming game. Now, that's a good thing for all the Redskins fans like me who are saying, hey, this dude had too many chances. Matt Jones has 6 career touchdown runs and 7 career fumbles. What is it? In 20 NFL starts, he has 7 fumbles or something like that. He lost 6 of them. So he has as many lost fumbles as he has touchdowns. Those could be, those lost fumbles, they could all be straight up touchdowns. They could turn into touchdowns. So this guy had too many chances, man. Everyone knows I liked Matt Jones, and I still like him. He's not. I don't dislike him, but we cannot keep giving people these chances, man. There's other people like Rob Kelly who have not done enough to screw up to not deserve the starting role on this offense. We cannot keep shooting ourselves in the foot. We cannot keep telling Matt Jones, hey, you have to hold on to the football. If you don't do anything else, hold on to the football. We can't keep telling him over and over. Rob Kelly hopefully will start in London this weekend. You know, it's good and a bad thing. Hopefully we get Rob Kelly the starter. Fat Rob gets the start. But the bad thing is, you know, if we are actually going to sit here and say, hey, Rob, you're our guy this week, or hey, Rob, you're the new starter, we need to do it legit. We cannot sit here and do this mysterious knee injury type business and sit here and have the caveat of saying, hey, well, we're going to let Rob Kelly start this game and see how he does. If he doesn't do that well, then we always can just act like we never lost faith in Matt Jones. If we're going to actually do this, we need to say, hey, we are, you know, take a seat, Matt Jones. It's Rob Kelly's show now. You screwed it up, man. We need to be upfront about this stuff. So that's the downfall of doing this, is that although I don't want Matt Jones gone, I know a lot of people want Matt Jones just to disappear. I think the guy's talented. You know, maybe he's just one of those players who needs to have more coaching than some other players, man. I don't want to get rid of him right now. I just want him to get touches late in the game when we're hopefully up by 2 scores or more. Then give Fat Rob a break and let's see some Matt Jones. But as of right now, he's just made too many mistakes. He doesn't deserve the starting role. Hopefully, Fat Rob gets to start this weekend. Now let's get into the Q&A. These questions are in no particular order. I'm just going to go on the video and read it off. All right, first one. This is a question from Funny Days 545. Do you think the Redskins will win the Super Bowl soon? Damn, that's the first question I get asked in this video. Shit, man. I hope so, man. You know, with the offense that we have, this is an offensive-driven league now. You know, scoring touchdowns is much easier. The rules help out the offense a lot more these days than it used to be. It used to be defense just always will beat offense. Now it's turning around, and NFL is going a little bit soft, and they want people to tune in and watch the game, and they want excitement, so they want touchdowns and points. Score more points. So as long as we have the high-powered offense that we do right now with Kirk Cousins, mind you, I think it could be soon. I honestly do think we have the talent to do this soon. Now, even, you know, it sucks to say this, but even if this is not our year, if we keep drafting the way that we're drafting, and if we get Kaishan Jarrett back, if we keep getting picks like the Kaishan Jarrett pick, you know, like the Sua Cravens pick, if we keep building these players. With the Preston Smith, Preston Smith had a good year last year. He needs to do more this year. But if we keep drafting this way, I see it within a few years, our defense getting a much improved to match how high-powered our offense is, and then we'll be deadly. So hopefully soon. Another question by Funny Days 545. What do you think the Redskins need to upgrade on offense or defense? We need to upgrade on the defense, as I just explained. Some of these I have to scroll past because they're just statements, they're not questions. Okay, on to the next question. It is from City of Champions 95, who is obviously a Steelers fan. He is asking, besides any of the 3 Redskins teams that won the Super Bowl, who do you think the greatest Super Bowl team, in your opinion, is? Besides the Redskins, who obviously I've said in the past video before, the 91 Redskins was the best team of all time to ever play the game of football. Everyone harps and says the 85 Bears because of their defense. I guess I have to jump on that too. The Bears, they had like 60 turnovers or something in one season. That's ridiculous. So I guess I have to go with the Bears as a close second to the 91 Redskins. Justin Most says, why the F do we insist on starting Matt Jones over other 2 running backs? I don't know, man. That's what I was just talking about at the beginning of the video. Until Rob Kelly makes as many mistakes as Matt Jones does, I feel like he should take over. I think we all do, and hopefully that's what's going to happen. Okay, next question is from I Like What I Like, and he says, what is your honest opinion on Gruden, Barry, and McVay? Please don't forget games 1 and 2 when answering. Your channel is pretty awesome. So my honest opinion on Gruden, Barry, and McVay. I love Jay Gruden. Love Jay Gruden. You guys, I liked Mike and Kyle Shanahan. I liked both those guys. We already had good coaches, but we ran them out of town. And a lot of us fans, not me, but a lot of fans out there, not you probably either, hopefully, but a lot of fans ran them out of town, man. And after we got, it's kind of scary just getting rid of everybody and getting everybody new. That's scary, dude. That's not how you want to run your organization. But I am a huge fan of Jay Gruden. I think he's an offensive-minded coach, but I love him because he is a player's coach. The players like him. Now, as long as people say it's better to be loved than be feared or whatever as a leader. And the thing is, I feel like our players love him because he's a smart guy, but he likes to have fun. He likes to crack jokes. He likes to hopefully just get the job done, but he will make light of any situation and remind us all that although this is a game, this is a tough game of football, or whatever, but it is just a game. I like that about Jay Gruden. I love the guy. Hopefully he can stick around for a long time. I'll skip Barry for now. Let's go to Sean McVay. I think Sean McVay will get better with time. I do like Sean McVay when I hear him talk, when he's talking about Kirk or he's talking with Kirk or anything like that. I think he's a smart guy. I think he is really good at running this high-powered offense. The only gripe about him is the gripe that we had at the very beginning of the season where we were off-balanced, where we were throwing the ball 40 to 50 times a game and not running the football. We just were not running the football. We need to be balanced. And in our 4-game winning streak, if you look at it, we were much more balanced. I really like Sean McVay as well. Hopefully he gets better with time and just keeps improving. I like most of his play calls and stuff like that. The only thing I disliked about McVay so far was he gets pass happy sometimes. That's the only gripe I have about him. Now, Joe Barry, when you hear Joe Barry talk, when you see him up on the podium and everything, he just has this head coach aura about him. He seems like a smart guy. He seems like he knows everything what to say. He seems confident. I want to like the guy. I really do. and he has been turning this defense around, but there's still things that he does that just has us sitting here just scratching our heads, man. We just lost to the Lions, not just because of the last drive, but obviously because of turnovers and things like that as well. But on the last drive, Joe Barry always just loves to sit in these soft zones, and I don't understand it. He calls these plays as if he's afraid of blitzing. He's afraid of being man-to-man with our guys, and it's like, I understand we don't have the best of personnel on defense, but you still have to take shots sometimes. You still have to pressure the quarterback sometimes. You still have to send pressure or at least bluff the blitz. You have to not just sit back and let quarterback pick us apart like we did in the last game. Our defense played really well, and our defense looks much improved from the beginning of the season. So I have to credit the guy for that, but then we're still scratching our heads. Why are we not blitzing Matt Stafford, a guy who, if you sit back and you let him have time, he's going to pick you apart? And that's what we did, and he picked us apart, and he won that game versus us simply because of play calling, in my opinion. Now, there's, people who are going to keep saying you can't blitz all the time, but I agree. Obviously, you can't blitz all the time, but when the game is on the line and we're playing a top 10 quarterback right now, like he is, I would rather have him be forced to make a decision and throw the ball up into maybe man-on-man coverage and be rushed than have him sit back and just glance over the entire field and go, "No, I'm going to throw it to him." That just does not make sense to me. Hopefully, I'm not one of these people. I don't want Joe Barry gone, but I want him to change his goddamn mind sometimes. Our best defensive game was versus the Eagles, and we blitzed the most that we have all year. We sent the most pressure as we have all year, and it's like he forgot that. It's like he forgot that on second down on that last drive that we blitzed Matt Stafford, and he threw the ball into the dirt. He didn't fare well against pressure, and then you come out right after that and send 3 linemen. You don't even rush 4 guys. It just makes zero sense in my opinion. I'm sure Sua Cravens would have loved to just got told, by whoever has the headset, I guess Will Compton, "Hey, it's your turn to blitz, bro." I'm sure he would have loved to blitz on that third down, and we didn't do it. Peyton Cooper says, "What is your favorite NFL game you've ever been to?" Good question, Peyton Cooper. That is easily the 2012 Redskins-Ravens game where RG3 got hurt. We won in overtime. Just an up-and-down game. If you go back and watch that game, man, it was just back and forth and, drama. RG3 got hurt. Kirk Cousins comes in, plays well. Punt return for basically setting up the winning field goal. Being at that game, like I said, I live here in Baltimore. It's always just Ravens this, Ravens that. And, I know a lot about the Ravens just because so many people here are Ravens fans. And that's why I said earlier in this year, I knew I was not afraid of the Ravens. I pay attention to the Ravens more than I want to. They're on the damn TV. And I'm just an NFL fan in general, so I will watch them play. I wasn't afraid of the Ravens this year. And, that was my favorite game. Even though I went to the Ravens game this year, that was a pretty cool game. But yeah, it has to be that game, the 2012 game, because there was so much drama. Okay, Jack Prescott says, "What do you think about the Cowboys? I'm not here to hate, but I'm curious what other teams think about them. Thanks." Jack Prescott, what do I think about the Cowboys? Well, their defense is much improved. I think a lot of people didn't think that their defense would be this good, but that's also a product because of the offense. Even up until now, I have to admit, I am still not that scared of Ezekiel Elliott. He has like 600 some yards or something like that already, something crazy, and it looks like he's rushing for over 1,000 easy, possibly 2,000 yards this year. But there's just something about the guy that just does not scare me. It's more of the offensive line that scares me. It's more of the holes that are opened up that scares me, not the actual individual talent of Ezekiel Elliott. I am more impressed by, obviously, the quarterback, Dak Prescott, who, not sure if you're related to him because your name apparently is Jack Prescott. But Dak Prescott, he looks poised. I don't think... I haven't seen all the Cowboys games. I have not sat down and analyzed all the Cowboys games. I have analyzed the game that we played, and I think we could have easily won that game versus Dak Prescott, who we let off the hook. We did not blitz him. He's a rookie quarterback, and I feel as if a lot of other teams have not blitzed him enough. I think what's happening with Dak Prescott is these defensive coordinators, they might blitz him once or twice in like the first quarter, and Dak Prescott, he finds a way to get out of it, and he looks good against the blitz, and then defensive coordinators are afraid to keep the pressure on him. I think if we play him versus how we did versus the Eagles and their rookie quarterback, and we sent a lot of pressure quite often, I think we could beat Dak Prescott. But the Cowboys, man, I think they're much better without Tony Romo, and I think they're much better without Dez Bryant. Now, it's hard to say. It's just a younger team. It's just like Tony Romo and Dez Bryant have been the staple of the team for so long, but it's like their time has passed, and now that there's new younger talent there, I think it's like a new face of the franchise now. That it's just something. Pages have been turned, and it's not good for us Redskins fans. But I am still not extremely afraid of the Cowboys. I think we can find a way to beat them the next time. But other people are having trouble. I don't know. I haven't watched all the games, though, so I can't pinpoint it. On to the next question. Gus Bollock says, I wished we have the cap space to keep both. So who's going to stay, Jackson or Garcon, or do we let both great wide receivers, or we lose both of them in the offseason, this offseason? The easy answer is we're going to keep Deshaun Jackson. Now, that is more complicated than we can think right now, because Deshaun Jackson is becoming this diva who, I mean, he's always been, but he's giving us more of an attitude now that Kirk Cousins isn't coming his way as often. But, we need Deshaun Jackson because of his... When we're playing defensive coordinators, they don't game plan around Pierre Garcon. They game plan around Deshaun Jackson and his elite speed. So we need him more. But if we lost Deshaun Jackson, I think that's a role where Rashad Ross and Ryan Grant and Jamison Crowder, and depending on how fast our new rookie first-round pick wide receiver is, Doxson, we can replace both these guys. Do I want to replace both these guys? No, I don't. I like Garcon and Jackson both, but both of them, unless they change how much money they're going to want, we'll see what happens. But I think the easy answer is we keep Deshaun Jackson if he wants to stay. Jeff Floyd says, what is the Redskins' biggest problem? That's a good question as well. I would have to say it is versus the run. We are pretty good at pass coverage. We are pretty good at running the ball. The Redskins' offense can't be stopped. When we decide to run the ball and play a balanced game, we do that well. We can even run the ball well. When we commit to the run, we run it well. So it's clearly not an offensive thing. Our special teams has been much improved from years past, so it's got to be something defensive. We're pretty good at... We haven't been giving up huge, deep shots, so our secondary seems to be holding up. So then you have to keep narrowing it down. It's got to be our run defense, which has a lot to do with our linebackers and a lot to do with the middle of our line, defensive line. So that's got to be it. If we let teams run the ball and they choose to commit to the run, that's bad for us because they can run the clock down. Running the ball is really effective. It's not as effective as it used to be when defenses, like I said, this is now a more high-scoring league where people just score points. So like a lot of people want to just pass the ball and get quick points. But if you run the ball, that's primarily what you want to do because you run the clock out. You control the tempo of the game. You wear down the other team's defense. You don't let the other team's offense get clicking. So I would have to say our run defense is the biggest problem. Okay, the next question is from Pick and Pop, I guess your name is. And he says, if Sean Taylor would still be alive, what situation would he be in right now? If Sean Taylor was alive, there's no way the Redskins would have let him go, so he would be a Redskin. And I think if Sean Taylor was alive right now, the Redskins would be the Seattle Seahawks of the NFL. Our defense, if we got to build a defense, when we had Sean Taylor, we didn't have that many playmakers, besides like a London Fletcher on the team. We had a patchwork of guys. If we had Sean Taylor and we had a lot longer to develop a defense around him, we'd be the Seattle Seahawks of the NFL, and people would have been petrified to play our defense. I wish that was the case. James Flores says, what's your favorite Redskins running back ever? Yeah, that's a hard one. I want to say Clinton Portis. I want to say, John Riggins, even though I never really watched him play that much. I watched old footage of him, but I got to say Alfred Morris. Alfred Morris. Primarily because he played the position well and helped us a lot, and just because of his personality. He's a great person. You could tell that he loved what he did, and you can tell that he was a stand-up guy. So although Clinton Portis was a beast, I'd have to go with Alfred Morris on this one, just because of not even on the field, but off the field as well. He's just a complete package. On to the next one. Ivan Ez says, what do you think will the Redskins win-loss record be? That's forever changing, man. I can't really sit here and put a wins-loss. I went down the schedule in one of my last videos. I told you what games I think are winnable. The Vikings just got beat by the Eagles, who we just beat. There's things that there's teams that we can play well versus. When we first got the schedule and we looked at the Carolina Panthers on there, we went, oh shit. We saw some of these other teams, Green Bay Packers. We said, oh shit. Green Bay hasn't been themselves. Carolina is definitely not themselves. There's some teams on the schedule that we're going to play that I am not as worried about as I was before. Win-loss, I'd have to sit here and do all the numbers, but I can't tell you right off the top of my head. Just go back in one of my last videos where I pull up the schedule and I say, hey, this game I think we can win. Hopefully that can help you. Hopefully you saw that video. Your daddy says, if the Skins make the playoffs, how far do you think we can make it? If the Redskins make the playoffs, depends how many injuries we have. If we make the playoffs, just like last year, I'm going to say we have the potential to go all the way. With our offensive power, if we just cannot be stopped on offense. We have yet to see, besides the first game versus the Steelers, we really have not just been stopped on offense. We can score these points, and people will have to catch up with us. It's hard. We're one of the best offenses in the league. We can only beat ourselves. So if we make the playoffs, I'm going to say that we found a way to not beat ourselves. So I'm going to say we have potential to go all the goddamn way. Maserat Shashin says, question, how old am I? I am 27. When did you become a Redskins fan? I have a whole video talking about this. It was as long as I can remember. My dad was a diehard Redskins fan his whole life. I just kind of fell into his footsteps. So as early as I can remember. What were your initial thoughts on Cousins? I always liked Kirk Cousins. I always liked him. I always liked RG3. Did I like the play that RG3 was doing the past couple years? No, I didn't. Did I like that RG3 couldn't stay on the field? No, I didn't. Did I even? You can go back. This whole channel of mine has kind of started where, you know, it started when RG3 wasn't doing that well, and when we put in Kirk Cousins, and, you know, even he had bad games against the Giants where he throws like 4 interceptions in one game. I backed Kirk Cousins the whole time. If you just know anything about football, and you just sit here and you've been watching football for years, and you sit back and you watch Kirk Cousins play, you cannot tell me he does not mimic some of the greatest quarterbacks. Just with his demeanor, with being in the game, he's a traditional pocket quarterback, and he just reminds me. And he makes these throws. Sometimes there's these throws that he makes, and you're just like, damn, dude, that's elite stuff. Am I calling him elite right now? No, but he makes some of these throws where you're just like, damn, dude, I just have not seen a quarterback do that. You know, I've always liked him. I always knew the potential was there. He doesn't get hurt, knock on wood. He's a smart guy. Whenever you hear him talk, I love hearing him talk. He's always a selfless guy. He never puts blame on anyone else. He's the perfect leader. I could not imagine having another quarterback on this team. I could not imagine having another up-and-coming better player than him. I love Kirk Cousins, and don't get it twisted, I liked RG3. Season record prediction. Like I just said, I just explained all that. Even though we are week 6 away, yeah, okay. Crafty K says, what position do you think the Redskins have to upgrade on? We need a nose tackle. We need to upgrade a lot of stuff. Now, like I said, even if this year is not our year, I'm not saying it's not. I have utmost belief in our team right now, more than a lot of other people have. I think we can make it to the playoffs this year, but what I'm saying is, even if this year we don't win the Super Bowl this year, I like what we're doing drafting. I like our GM, the moves he's making. We can build this defense, and if they complement our offense better, we're unstoppable. So there's a lot of things. We need a real linebacker. We need a real middle linebacker. Not dissing on Mason Foster or Will Compton, but we need a guy who is just an all-around badass guy who can stop the run, who is good in pass coverage, a guy who just takes over and changes the momentum of the game. We need a lot of help on the defensive line. I would rather have help on the defensive line before we get a middle linebacker, but that's where I would start. And then always safety is a big question mark. I like Duke Hinacho. Why is he starting? I have zero idea. But we have guys who can come into roles on other positions like cornerback and safety. We have those guys who we can hopefully build off of, but we don't have a nose tackle. We don't have a second Chris Baker. We need more guys on our defensive line. Peyton Cooper says, what do you think of the Saints? What do I think of the Saints? They have no defense, and obviously Drew Brees is a beast, but Drew Brees is also a gunslinger, man. He will throw a lot of interceptions, but he will probably double that in touchdowns. But you need to give him help. You need to build a defense. The Saints, I think, are like 2-4 right now. And that's not because of Drew Brees. Drew Brees is the highlight of your team. And you guys don't play in a very hard division, man. It's tough to sit here and say a lot of good things about the Saints, like I know you want me to say. Drew Brees is the only good spot I can talk about. Besides that, you need to build a defense, man. I don't know how to help you. I don't know what advice I can give you, but you need someone on defense. You need to just have some huge leader show up on your defense and change the way that your team plays and help out your offense. And like I said, the division that you guys are in, I don't see it as a really hard division. I mean, I'm sure the games within, there's always rivalry games, but I think with your quarterback, if you had any decent defense, you guys could win that division easily, but you don't have a defense. So that's kind of my honest opinion on the Saints. Mara Close VS says, if you weren't a fan of the Redskins, what other team do you think you'd be a fan of in the NFL? Man, this is hard. What other fan? If I wasn't a fan of the Redskins, who would I be a fan of? I might have to just say the Ravens. I don't want to say the Ravens. I don't like the Ravens, man. I don't have a problem with the Ravens, but I hate Ravens fans because I'm surrounded by them. So it's hard to say I would be a Ravens fan, but that's where I'm from, man. So I guess realistically, I would have to say the Ravens. If you're asking me what other team do I like in the NFL, shit, man, it's hard to say. I don't know, man. There's a couple teams out there. It sounds like a bandwagon thing to say, but I really respect the Seattle Seahawks. That because of their defense. When you play them, you're like, damn, dude, like, you're worried. You know what I mean? And I like Russell Wilson. So, if you're sitting here asking me what other team do I like the most players on, as individuals on another team, I'd have to say the Seattle Seahawks. But realistically, if the Redskins just didn't exist, I guess I would have to be a Ravens fan because that's where I'm from. Chris Burford says, I was a Marine for 4 years and I was stationed in Quantico. Where were you stationed? I was stationed in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina for 4 years. I was with the Unit 19, 1st Battalion, 9th Marines, The Walking Dead. I was 0311 Infantry. I have some friends who are now in Quantico. They basically train officers. If you are telling me that you were stationed in Quantico for 4 years when you first got into the Marine Corps, I'm just going to have to assume that your job is not infantry. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe you were the silent drill team. I have no idea, but that's all I know about Quantico is that's where the officers are. I've never been there, but yeah, yep, I was in North Carolina. It was pretty shitty. Hopefully Quantico wasn't as shitty for you. Hopefully you had more fun in 4 years than I did. But on to the next question. Atron Senna says, not sure if this has been asked before, but 3-part question. Who would you cut on the Redskins? Who would I cut on the Redskins? If I had to cut one person, that would be, first name that comes to mind, David Bruton Jr. I'm sure there's a better question. I'm sure there's a better answer to that. But first guy I would have to think this year, David Bruton Jr. Who would you bring in? Shit, I don't know, man. Are you asking me free agent wise? Pierre Thomas. We need We need somebody to run the ball. Let's bring in Pierre Thomas. Who would you start who is currently on the bench? That would be Duke Iheanacho at safety. Really recently, I guess Rob Kelly. He's not really on the bench. He's not like a guy who doesn't play, but he needs to start over Matt Jones. So good questions. Hopefully you liked my answers. Paper Plate says, why do you like the Redskins, or what made you like them? Paper Plate, well, I have a whole entire video. If you go back through my videos, I explained why I'm a Redskins fan. But in short, in general, I already said it in this video as well. I grew up here in Maryland, and my dad was a diehard Redskins fan, so I kind of grew up watching the Redskins with him. That's kind of it. Ario Sarabi, sorry if I can't say your name right. Do you think we can keep Deshaun Jackson or Pierre Garçon? Already kind of answered that earlier, man. And what do you think of Eric Berry? What do I think of Eric Berry? He's kind of badass, but I think he's had some injury problems recently. Is that true? I don't really follow his team, but I'm pretty sure Eric Berry has torn his ACL or something like that. So did he come back? Did he play well? I haven't really been paying attention, so sorry about that, man. But initial thoughts on Eric Berry, he's kind of a beast. But if he can't stay healthy, that sucks. Demos Android Gaming says, is the NFL getting easier, like less tough? Great question, and it's easy to answer, and that is yes. Yes, it is. I grew up watching, hopefully like you guys did, watching awesome football, where football used to be, and I'm sure a lot of you will agree with me, football used to be the toughest guys who showed up that day won the game. It was about toughness. It was if your team was tougher than the other team, and you could take more hits and you could keep going, and your defense was just mean, and that team won. It used to be about toughness. It used to be who can beat up on the other team. Now you can't hit anybody. You can't. There's just. It's kind of like the government, dude. The government just. It just is. There's just this huge list of rules, and NFL is just like the government. You just keep making these laws, making these new rules, new flags for stuff. Like you can't do celebrations anymore. You can't. You just the dumbest stuff. The kickoffs come out not to the 20-yard line, but to the 25-yard line now. That is to help the offense score more points to get higher ratings on TV and stuff like that. It is now an offensive league. District 202 says, what is your take on a strong safety position? Duke is still the starter, but Whitner saw more snaps versus the Eagles. Who do I prefer? Well, last game versus the Lions, Whitner got, I think, all the snaps. Duke Iheanacho didn't even really play. And I don't like that, man. Yes, the defense did pretty solid, and our defense is coming around. But I like Duke Iheanacho more than any other safety we have on this team. He is the best. I don't understand. He's the youngest. He's the most athletic. It will hit people. He's decent to good at tackling. He's not afraid to hit anybody. He's fast. He's faster than all the other guys we got. I just don't understand why he is not the starter. And I'm coming to conclusions that it might be because of personality setbacks with our coaches, and they just aren't seeing eye to eye or something. You know, I don't understand what it is. That's the only thing I could see holding him back from being the starter, because when I watch him on the field and everything, he is the best. So I understand. I see where you're talking. I'm sure that's what you think too, because of the way that you worded this and the way that you asked me. Is Dante Whitner playing decent for us right now? Yes, he is. I mean, we played pretty well versus the Lions defensively when their offense was pretty high-powered, and we held them to not that many points with Dante Whitner in there. So, you know, who knows? But I like Duke Iheanacho much more than anybody else, any other safety we got. RG3, hashtag smoking that 3, hashtag 10 Hunnit. He says, did you ever play football for a team? Good question, man. And the answer is no. Obviously, everyone played backyard football, rough football, you know, when you're growing up and there's no rules, and, you know, played football on the street. I played, you know, like normal kids. But did I play football for a team? No, I did not. I actually, growing up, I mean, I wish I did. You know, looking back, I wish I did. I love football more now than I did when I was a kid, though. You know, growing up, I was a huge baseball guy. I played baseball until I was, you know, in high school at a pretty high level. You know, I have lots of trophies and stuff to show for it. I loved baseball more when I was younger, and then it kind of transitioned into football. I liked football more. And the thing is, my baseball career kind of stopped when I played center field. I always played center field when I was playing baseball, because I liked, you know, it's an important position. I loved playing center field. That was my thing. I could catch, I could field, I had a strong arm, I could throw to third base, I could throw home, I could do all these things, you know, that, you know, a lot of other people they just weren't up to par with me. I loved playing center field. I could track the ball. I was a pretty good player all around. I was good at hitting. You know, obviously everyone had their ups and downs. Some years I didn't play as well as the other years. Some years I didn't even, you know, sometimes we always moved people around sometimes too. I played third base because I had a good arm. When our third baseman got hurt and they were worried about it, sometimes they would put me at third base or shortstop because I had such a good arm. They would make me throw that ball to first. You know what I mean? So I was just more of a baseball guy. And it all kind of ended in high school because I played from, Pee-wee, as young as you can start playing baseball. I played from then all the way up to freshman in high school. But the thing is, at my high school, I've been playing with almost the same kids my whole life. I've been playing with like the same group of guys pretty much my whole life. And when we got into high school, as I told you, I'm a center fielder at heart, dude. That's my position. That's what I play, dude. I love center field. And I got into high school, and the high school coach, was a kid on the team's father. So the guy who is coaching baseball at my high school, where everyone, has played from as young as we could play up until high school, the coach put his son at center field because that's what he wanted to play. It was politics, man, and it sucks, but that's what kind of made me I didn't come back the year after that. I just didn't play. I didn't want to play because of politics. It sucks. When some people get their parents into things, I'm not even sure, that it was more of the coach than it was the kid. The kid, he wanted to play center field, but I don't think he would have went to the drastic measure of telling his dad, hey, make me play center field. I think it was more of his father wanting to do that, and I don't understand till this day. But hey, that was my baseball career. I still like baseball. I still try to catch it every now and again. I'm an Orioles fan. I don't mind the Nationals. I think that the Nats are pretty cool ever since they've been here. I root for them too, but I don't watch them like I watch the Orioles. And being an Orioles fan is hard, man. They always have talent year in and year out, and we're just in the hardest division in baseball normally. So it's hard being an Orioles fan my whole life. But yeah, that's. I wish I looking back, I would have loved to play football. What position I would have played, I don't know. Hopefully, it would have been something on defense, because I feel like I would be down to hit somebody. I'd rather be doing the hitting than taking the hits. So it really sucks, man. Really sucks. Hopefully, if I had a kid or something like that, hopefully I can get them into football maybe or something like that. Pick and Pop. He says, do you think the Skins will make a trade at the deadline? If so, for what position? Do I think we'll make a trade? No, I don't. I think if we do anything, we're going to be picking people up that are free agents. We're not going to be making any trades, to my knowledge. Don't get me wrong, if our general manager wants to make a trade, that dude is really good at what he does, and he can probably get that trade. But I think we're 4-3 right now. The sky's not falling. We have a lot more football ahead of us, and we have, with the offense that we have, the defense is coming around. I don't see the need to go out. Unless we're going to get someone on the defensive line, I don't see us making a trade. If anything, we will pick up players from free agency. This looks like the last question. Souls Nation says, I see a Cheech and Chong shirt on. Do you smoke? Now, do I smoke cigarettes? No, I don't. Does something else happen? I'll leave it to you. I mean, just look at what I got on here, man. Keep in mind I was in the Marine Corps, so there was some period where I couldn't do shenanigans like this. But I'll leave it up to your imagination if you're catching on to my drift. So you guys, thanks for watching. This isn't going to be the last time I do a Q&A video. It might be on the off season or something like that. I'll do another one. Hopefully you guys learned a little bit more about me or what I think about your team or whatever. Hopefully this is a little bit more in depth and not just only about the Redskins. I'm glad a lot of this stuff was about the Redskins because that's what I like to talk about. But I can also talk about me. I would like to learn more about you guys as well. That's why I like reading all your comments. You guys know that when you comment on my videos, I try to get back to you. It's a little bit harder now that I'm not getting the emails all the time. Normally I would always get an email for every single comment that someone puts on my videos. And keep in mind, I have 2 different channels, not just this channel. I comment on all my comments on my other channel as well. So if you check out my other channel and you comment on those videos, I will comment back as well. But it's getting a little bit harder now You know, it's no excuse, but I'm just not getting all the emails from YouTube saying, hey, so-and-so commented this on your video. But what I'm doing now is I'm learning that I have to go back to every single video and just scroll down and just look at all the comments. And I can't rely on YouTube to send me these emails saying so-and-so commented. I guess it's just too many now. It's kind of a good thing, a blessing in disguise. But I want to stay connected with you guys. Thanks for watching. Check out all the other YouTubers. Louis T Live had a good video last night. You know, he's feeling my pain too with all the bum Redskins fans out there, the fair weather fans. You know, finally it's getting to him as well. You guys, the sky's not falling. Should we have beaten the Lions? Yes, we should. Should we beat the Bengals? Yes, we should. But even if we go into the bye 4-4, I just see too much talent on this team to give up. And as long as this team keeps fighting, I'll never give up. You know, hail to the Redskins. Comment if you guys want to comment some more questions on this video. I'll not make another answers video, but if you commented any more questions that you have on this video, I will answer them. I'll type to you and answer them. So if there's something that you didn't get in this video, or if you didn't know about the questions and answers video, you can comment in this one and I'll answer your questions. Hail to the Redskins, guys. See you in the next one. Peace out.